I'm Tiarna and A wave is a vibration of oscillation which is transmitted through a material or through space. Waves can transfer energy and information from one place to another without the transfer of physical material. Sound waves can also be described as longitudinal waves, which means particles vibrate parallel to the direction in which the wave is travelling. There are different types of sine waves. Sine waves which are pure tone. Complex waveforms are made up of sine waves. Example for a sawtooth or a square wave. Triangle waves sound like a sine wave and with extra higher tones. Sawtooth waves sound bright and harsh and are used for lead instruments and bass. Then finally there is a square wave which is bright and hollow and usually associated with woodwind instruments. Sawtooth and square waves are made up of sine waves. Sawtooth waves is made up of odd and even harmonics, and squares are only made up of odd harmonics. To find the wavelength, which is the length of one full wave, you need to know the speed of the wave and the frequency. Wave is measured in lambda. The formula equation for working out the wavelength is the speed of the wave divided by frequency. Frequency is the number of complete waves passing a fixed point in 1 second. It is calculated in hertz. Frequency measures the tone or pitch of a sound. The higher the pitch the higher the frequency. The equation for calculating frequency is the speed of wave divided by wavelength. To be more specific, the amplitude is defined as the greatest displacement of the wave from its undisturbed position. To simplify that, it's to calculate the volume of sound and calculate it in decibels. The louder the sound, the louder the amplitude. Sound waves are produced when an object vibrates. The range of human hearing is 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Sound can travel through air, water, walls and everything but a vacuum because there is no air. Because there is no air, there are no particles for the sound energy to pass through. The speed of sound is approximately 340 meters per second in air, but it's a lot faster in water, or even a piece of steel, because the particles are closer together in air and it can travel faster.
I need to skip.
Do you want us to do the pod?
I don't know how to do this. There are different types of instrument groups that instruments can be categorized in. Here are some examples of the different types of groups. Idiophone. An idiophone is any musical instrument which creates sound when it vibrates without the use of membranes or strings. Membranophone. A membranophone is any musical instrument which produces sound when struck, such as a drum, etc. Chordophone. A chordophone is any musical instrument which produces sound by a string and multiple strings being bowed or plucked when they are attached between two opposite points. Aerophone. An aerophone is any musical instrument that generates sound by disturbing a pocket of air, causing it to vibrate without the use of strings or membranes, and without the vibration of the instrument itself, adding much to the traits of the sound produced. And a latrophone. A latrophone is any musical instrument in which the sound is produced by electronic means. The instrument that we have designed falls into two of these categories, one of the categories being chordophone. Our instrument falls into this category as it consists of 3 strings stretched across two opposite points, and when bowed or plucked it produces a desired sound. The other category that our instrument falls into here is the membranophone category. Our instrument also falls into this category as when one of the wooden surfaces is struck, it also produces a desired sound. Within these categories, each category has its own sound production method. Idiophone sound production method is when an idiophone produces sound when it is hit. Examples of idiophones are instruments such as bells, xylophones, chimes. Membranophone sound production method A membranophone is an instrument that also produces sound when struck. Though membranophones share a similar sound production method to idiophones, there are two different types of instruments with different traits. Membranophones are instruments with a skin stretched across that when struck, its purpose is to generate a desired sound. Examples of membranophones are instruments such as snare, toms, bongos, bong, etc. Quarterphones, sound production methods. Quarterphone produces sound when the string is attached between two opposite points on its bowed or plucked, which causes it to vibrate, producing a desired sound. Examples of quarterphones are instruments such as guitar, banjo, violin, and bass. Aerophone sound production method. An aerophone produces sound by vibrations disturbing pockets of air. Examples of aerophones are instruments such as trumpet, tin whistle, harmonica, clarinet, and so on. On an electric phone, sound production method is electric phones produce sound by causing the oscillation of an electric current. Examples of quarterphones are instruments such as synthesizers and MIDI instruments. The instrument that we have designed for this project makes use of two of these sound production methods, as our instrument falls into two separate categories. The first sound production method that our instrument makes use of is the quarterphone sound production method, as our instrument consists of three strings stretched across 2 points, and in order to sound these strings they have to be plucked or bowed, which then produces a desired sound. The second sound production method that our instrument makes use of is the membranophone sound production method, as when our instrument is struck on one of its wooden surfaces it produces a desired sound. The physical construction of our instrument. When we started planning out our instrument, we had a simple idea of 3 strings that would be stretched across a piece of wood, and when the strings were bowed or plucked they would produce a desired sound. We then took some time and tried to develop our idea and see what we could add to our instrument to improve it. After much discussion, we then came to the decision that we would make use of a cajon as opposed to making use of a simple piece of wood, and across this cajon we would have 3 strings stretched across. The simple concept of our instrument was that the strings could be plucked or bowed, producing notes, whilst the instrument could also be struck by the palm of the hand, producing percussion at the same time. Once we had planned out how we were going to construct our instrument and had gathered all the materials we needed to do so, we then set about constructing it in the following order: attaching the head of the guitar to the cajon. We set about attaching the head of the guitar to the cajon by simply making use of 2 screws and screwing them in both of the heads to ensure. Though before we could attach the head with the screws, we had to attach the pieces of wood to the left and right side of the head to ensure that the head was as far enough distant from the surface of the cajon so that the strings could be attached once the construction of the instrument was complete. Attaching the bridge of the guitar to the cajon, we set about attaching the bridge of the guitar. We set about attaching the bridge of the guitar to the cajon in the same way that we attached the head of the guitar. We took 2 screws into the left side of the bridge and the other in the right to ensure that the bridge would be stable enough to withstand the tension of the strings once applied. Attaching the strings and second bridge. Once the head and bridge of the guitar were attached to the cajon, we were then able to apply the strings and second bridge. The second bridge was held in place by the strings once they were applied. The musical attributes of our instrument, I would describe as the strings when plucked of quite a long sustained but dull sound, as they were producing quite low frequencies. The strings when plucked produce low frequencies as we made use of guitar strings, which are low E, A and D. These strings were quite thick and could also not be tightened too much as our instrument was not stable enough to ensure the stability of strings once tightened to a certain extent. This is another trait for our instrument producing quite low frequencies. The tuning that we made use of for our instrument was G, G and D. Our logic behind choosing this tuning was because G and D is a harmony of 5th. So this meant that when all the strings were plucked at the one time, it would produce a harmonised sound which would then be pleasant to the ear. Harmonic content of the instrument. For string D left, the fundamental and the second harmonic are both the same. The fundamental is also the highest note. The fundamental is also the highest note within this harmonic series. And that is all I have to offer for you today. I don't know.
Can we hear your instrument?
I'll give it a wee pluck and bow now. Give that thing.
Here.
This is the instrument once plucked. Tune it up here a wee bit more, at least you can hear it. So, plucked. Once it's bowed, and the strings aren't tuned at the moment as well, so it's not going to produce quite a nice sound.
Is that in the song for an escalated?
But yeah, that's pretty much the basic concept for our instrument. And then I can be hit at the same time. That's being played.
I've never seen someone look like they're enjoying
But yeah,
themselves so much.
that's the end of our presentation.
Well done, thank you. Okay. Cheers.